You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Welcome. If you're a product leader, maybe an engineer, or really anyone involved with roadmaps, you know the job description you learned even just a couple of years ago, it feels like it's becoming obsolete fast.
It really does. The ground is shifting under our feet.
It's Product Thursdays here on, I think, The Vocal Technologist today. And yeah, the conversation isn't if AI is changing product development anymore, is it? It's how fundamentally it's shaking things up, our teams, our markets.
Exactly. And we've pulled together some really fascinating observations. For you listening, the mission today is, well, let's cut through the noise, the hype. Where should you put your energy when, machines can do so many of the basic tasks?
Right.
We're trying to synthesize what it really means to define innovation now, master this new toolkit, and maybe most importantly, how to lean into these uniquely human skills like influence, storytelling, stuff AI just can't do.
Okay, let's start right there with the structure. The whole idea of the product organization seems to be, well, fracturing. For years, being the product manager, that formal title, that was the goal, right?
Mm-hmm. The coveted role.
But the signals now suggest top companies are actually maybe dissolving that role as we knew it.
It's a subtle but really important distinction. The work isn't vanishing, not at all. But the centralized title, that might be fading.
Oh, okay.
Instead of funneling everything through one PM, you see successful companies distributing that product accountability, spreading it across more specialized teams, engineers, designers, marketers, data scientists.
So the advantage shifts. It goes to the product-minded person, wherever they sit in the org chart. It's less about owning the document, the roadmap artifact.
Yeah, less about control.
And more about driving collaboration, influencing across functions, making an impact without needing the official title. It feels like a shift from central command to decentralized influence.
And that kind of influence, that decentralized model, it needs scaffolding. It needs structural support. Which brings us straight to product ops. Because as automation handles the checklists, the simpler tasks, PMs or whoever is product-minded, they have to get better at influencing alignment across the org. Product ops becomes the engine for scaling clarity.
I get the concept, but for someone listening who's maybe thinking, oh, great, another layer of meetings, what does scaling clarity actually look like day to day? Like on a Monday morning?
Yeah, fair question. It's the difference between, say, 15 teams all defining success in 15 slightly different ways versus having one standardized, hopefully light touch system. Product ops works on the tools, the data governance, the shared rituals for road mapping.
Oh. Well.
When teams trust the data, when they know the process, decisions happen faster. Trust builds on that shared context, not on one person trying, micromanage every single detail.
Right.
And that frees up the product thinkers for the really strategic stuff.
And that strategic work, it demands top-notch execution. We came across this really compelling idea that, in this age of super fast automation, the edge, the competitive difference, isn't just speed anymore, it's exceptional craft.
That's such a crucial point. Think about it. If anyone can spin up an MVP faster than ever.
Right. The barrier to entry drops.
Exactly. So the new barrier becomes the quality of execution. Craft means really breaking down those silos between product, design, engineering, focusing intensely on creating those core user experiences that feel, delightful, personal, worth coming back to.
Sticky, not just functional.
Precisely. Sticky.
Okay, so product ops provides the efficiency, the smooth rails. Craft delivers that standout quality. But then comes the hard part, right? You built this amazing thing. Now you need to get internal buy-in. And this is where the human element really shines, the PM or the product lead as the ultimate storyteller.
Absolutely. Data on its own is just numbers. It's meaningless until you wrap it in a narrative that connects directly to business outcomes. Persuasive product storytelling is what turns those data points into actual decisions at the executive level.
And you can't just wing it. You mentioned structuring it like a consultant.
Yeah, you really have to. You need that structure.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. We hear these terms like issue trees or MECE. Why does a PM who just wants to ship features need to bother with that consultant speak?
Because executives aren't buying features per se. They're investing in solutions to business problems. Frameworks force you to show your thinking is rigorous, that your solution actually addresses the core problem comprehensively.
Okay.
Take MEC, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. It sounds fancy, but it just means you structure your options, your argument, so that every possibility is considered, but none of them overlap.
Right. No gaps, no double counting.
Exactly. It shows thoroughness. Or if you're proposing a big strategy change, an issue tree helps you break down that main problem into smaller, distinct sub-issues. It makes sure your recommendation hits the root cause, not just a symptom.
Ah, so it's the difference between saying, hey, our conversion rate dropped 10%,
Which just states a fact.
versus saying our conversion rate dropped 10%. Using an issue tree, we've pinpointed the drop entirely to the mobile checkout for Persona X. This specific $500 K fixed targets that root cause and modeling shows it should unlock $2 million in annual revenue. You're connecting the dots, the metric to the meaning to the money.
Precisely. You've built the case. And that connection, that relatability, is why personas are still so vital, even with all the data we have.
Right.
Personas turn those abstract numbers, that complex research into, memorable people. A team might forget a specific drop-off percentage, but they'll remember Sarah the student who gets frustrated with the clunky mobile checkout. Personas keep empathy front and center, especially when things are moving fast.
Okay, this is where things get really wild. How AI is shifting the external world, the market dynamics. We throw the word innovation around all the time.
Constantly.
But we need to be sharp about the difference between real disruptive innovation and just, well, iteration, making things a tiny bit better.
Yes, iteration is refinement. It's making what you already have 10% faster, 10% slicker. It's necessary, of course, but it's fundamentally safe.
Playing within the existing rules.
Exactly. True innovation redefines the rules. It challenges basic assumptions about how things work, about where value comes from. And we're seeing a pretty stark split right now.
How so?
AI-native startups, they're achieving genuine innovation because they're weaving machine intelligence into every single workflow from day one. They're fundamentally rewriting the software playbook.
While a lot of the big established players, they're seeing incremental gains maybe? Because they're essentially just like bolting AI features onto their existing, often rigid systems.
That's a great way to put it. Bolting it on. They're tuning up the car while the startups are trying to build the Hyperloop.
And that Hyperloop effect, it's already starting to disrupt some major players, especially in areas like content creation, right? With tools like Sora.
Oh, absolutely. Tools like Sora making high-quality video creation almost effortless. That throws the whole attention economy into question.
You made a bold prediction. AI is killing the social media star. Unpack that for us. What does that market shift look like?
Well, think about the core dynamic of platforms like Instagram or TikTok. It relies partly on the perceived effort or scarcity of high-quality, engaging content.
Right, authenticity, connection.
Exactly. But when AI can instantly generate vast amounts of personalized, high-quality content, that scarcity model breaks down. Authenticity gets eroded because, well, how do you know what's real?
Viewer fatigue sets in.
Yeah, you start sensing this flood of perfectly optimized but maybe hollow engagement. The prediction is that real human connection, real trust, it retreats. It moves into smaller private spaces, DMs, closed groups, niche communities.
While the main public feed becomes
What type of?
a kind of beautiful but maybe sterile AI-generated showroom.
Potentially, yeah. A showcase, less of a community hub.
That's a massive potential shift in how we interact online. Away from the public performance towards verified, smaller circles of trust. And we're seeing a similar kind of disruption brewing in e-commerce, too, specifically around how we buy things.
Yes. The classic shopping funnel is getting sliced and diced by AI. The prediction here is that AI is poised to completely own the mid-funnel.
The mid-funnel. What exactly does that cover? What does AI owning it look like?
It's the rational, transactional part of shopping. Think about buying things with clear SKUs, known parameters. Find me the best price on this specific model of running shoe. Or reorder my usual brand of coffee beans, but check for deals first.
The comparison shopping, the price optimization.
Exactly. AI is perfect for that kind of research, comparison, and even auto-purchasing at scale, which puts enormous pressure on things like affiliate marketing, traditional search ads.
Because the AI finds the product directly, you're not scrolling through pages of Google results anymore.
Right. But interestingly, the human element seems likely to remain dominant at the edges of the funnel.
The edges, meaning?
The impulse buy. Seeing a sweater in a shop window or scrolling online and buying it on a whim because you love it, not because you researched it.
The discovery and emotional purchase.
Exactly. And the other end, the big, complex, high consideration purchases, buying a house, choosing a car, things that often involve in-person interaction, nuanced trade-offs.
Okay, so the messy human stuff stays human. But the transactional middle, gets automated.
That seems to be the trajectory. And this brings up a really important, maybe uncomfortable question for you, for everyone listening. If AI is automating our creative outputs and optimizing our transactions, what's it doing to our own brains, our internal cognitive processes?
You called it cognitive debt. Let's dig into that because it feels incredibly relevant for anyone using these generative AI tools every day.
Cognitive debt. It's the risk we run when we start relying too heavily on AI to do the initial thinking, the first draft. It risks dulling our own create mode, that muscle we use to generate original ideas, structure arguments from scratch. Instead, we slip into a more passive review mode.
Just editing what the AI spits out.
Exactly. We spend all day refining the machine's output rather than formulating our own original thesis, wrestling with the problem ourselves first.
I can see that. Even in my work here for the show. If I ask an AI to summarize a really long article, sure, it saves time. But I might miss the subtle connections, the nuances I'd have picked up by reading and synthesizing it myself.
That's the debt accumulating. If you consistently outsource that heavy lifting, the reasoning, the synthesis, the structuring of thought, those critical thinking muscles can atrophy.
So the advice is?
You have to consciously protect that create mode. Use AI as a powerful assistant, a research partner, a data cruncher, a sparring partner even. But don't let it think for you. The moment you stop critically engaging with the input and just accept the output, that's when the debt starts building.
That's a really critical point for personal practice. Okay, let's shift gears from the theory and the market impact to internal execution. We see these huge shifts, we understand the risks like cognitive debt. But how are teams actually adopting AI tools internally? The data we saw suggests product teams are lagging, which feels surprising.
It is counterintuitive, isn't it? Product teams, the very people tasked with building the future, are, ironically, often the furthest behind in adopting AI compared to, say, engineering or marketing.
Why is that?
Well, the surprising barrier, according to surveys, isn't outright skepticism. We often assume people are resistant. But the main hurdle seems to be organizational inertia, or just simply not knowing where to start. Confusion. Paralysis.
Okay, so if the problem is confusion, just telling people use AI isn't the answer. A top-down mandate won't fix it.
Right. Real success, adoption, it comes in teams where leadership actively creates an environment where experimentation feels safe, not career limiting.
Making it okay to fail, basically.
Exactly. The crucial move is getting teams from just being curious about AI to feeling confident enough to actually try things, to experiment. It has to be okay to try a prompt that gives you garbage back. That's part of learning.
And when teams do manage to launch a new AI-powered feature, getting users to actually adopt it requires a different kind of thinking about the user experience itself. You mentioned this loop: motivation, action, and recovery.
That's the essential trio for adoption, especially with AI features which can feel a bit unpredictable. First, motivation. The feature needs to show immediate, obvious value. Don't bury the AI magic 6 clicks deep.
Make the benefit clear up front.
Right. Second, action. The interaction needs to be quick, low effort. A simple prompt, a single click. Don't make the user jump through hoops.
Okay.
But the third one, recovery, this is maybe the most overlooked and critical part for AI. Because AI output can be weird or imperfect or just slightly off.
It often is, yeah.
Product design must anticipate that failure and design a graceful way out.
Can you give an example? What does a graceful recovery look like when the AI messes up?
Okay, let's say your app uses AI to summarize meeting notes, and the AI summary completely misses the key decision that was made.
Yeah, that happens.
A bad recovery is just showing the flawed summary, maybe with the generic, was this helpful? Yes, no. A graceful recovery doesn't just point out the error. It might say, did this summary capture the main points? And immediately offer clear options like, no, let me quickly highlight the key decision, or switch to manual editing, or regenerate summary focusing on action items.
So you give the user immediate control, acknowledge the imperfection, and make it easy to correct course. It lowers the frustration.
Exactly. It lowers the cost of failure for the user, which builds their confidence to try the AI feature again next time. That's how you turn curiosity into actual reliance.
Graceful recovery. Love that. Okay, connecting this back to the bigger picture, lots of companies are saying we're focusing on AI, but they seem to struggle with actually measuring if any of it is working.
We're back to metrics again, aren't we? OKRs, objectives, and key results are vital, but you need OKRs specifically tailored to AI adoption and effectiveness. It's not enough just to measure basic usage like how many times was the AI feature clicked.
What should they measure then?
You need to measure things that indicate real value and reliance. Are users actually acting on the AI's output? Are they completing critical tasks faster or better with the AI? Are they using the feature more frequently over time, indicating growing trust? Is it reducing support tickets? You need those concrete signals.
If you can't define what success looks like in tangible terms, you can't really justify continued investment or know if you're on the right track.
Precisely. Otherwise, it's just AI theater.
And finally, let's hit one more common internal pain point that tech, even AI, often doesn't solve on its own: meeting overload. It's still crushing productivity in so many places.
Oh, the meeting monster, yes.
And it feels like it comes back to that lack of clarity we talked about earlier with product ops.
It absolutely does. Too many meetings are almost always a symptom of deeper issues. Usually it's unclear direction, poor alignment between teams, or slow, ambiguous decision-making processes. People meet because they don't know what to do next, or who has the authority to decide.
So the cure isn't just have fewer meetings.
No, the tactical cure involves a few things. First, clearly defining who makes what decisions. That removes a whole class of let's meet to figure out who decides meetings. Second, improving overall communication hygiene, better documentation, clearer status updates. And third, ruthlessly moving routine status updates and simple check-ins out of synchronous meeting time.
Push them to async channels, Slack, documents, whatever.
Let people get out of the conference room, virtual or physical, and get back to doing the actual work, back to building, back to focusing on that craft.
So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you, the listener, the product professional, trying to navigate this? We've explored this really interesting duality, haven't we? AI is automating away a lot of the transactional optimization tasks,
The grunt work, in some cases.
which counterintuitively makes those uniquely human skills, the storytelling, the strategic thinking, the ability to build trust, the focus on craft, scaling clarity through things like product ops, it makes them more critical than ever.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating when you look closely is how high-performing teams are actually using AI. The narrative is often about AI replacing jobs, replacing roles.
It's the fear narrative.
But the reality on the ground, especially in creative and product fields, seems different. We saw that amazing launch video from Deal recently, incredibly polished, produced super fast.
That was impressive.
That wasn't made by one single AI replacing a creative director, no.
Right.
It was clearly done by skilled human experts using a whole stack of different AI tools, using AI for storyboarding, for voiceover, for editing, for visuals, enhancing their own creativity and speed.
So the human expertise was amplified, multiplied, not substituted.
Exactly. That feels like the key. True innovation right now isn't about swapping a human for a single tool. It's about experts mastering a combination of these powerful new tools to elevate their own capabilities.
That's the real takeaway then. AI is a capability multiplier wielded by skilled humans.
Which leads to the final, maybe provocative question for you to think about after this conversation. If AI is essentially becoming a powerful new cool stack, one that enhances the abilities of those who master it, what new combination of tools integrated with your core human expertise will you commit to mastering next? What will you build?
What's your unique combination going to be? Because the future seems to belong to those who can skillfully blend human ingenuity with machine intelligence, the master craftsmen of this new era.
Well said.
Thank you for joining us for this exploration into product strategy in the age of AI. Lots to think about. We'll connect with you again next time.
Spoken Tech for your ears.